Hello everyone. Thanks to Beth for the introduction. Liz Turner, the registration manager with the PWI, and thank you for the opportunity of being here today. The PWI was established 140 years ago. You might have noticed that from your lanyard. And the aims that were set then remain as true today. But there was a big change for the institution in 2019 when we gained a licence from the Engineering Council so that we could confer on our individual members the professional titles of Engineering Technician, Incorporated Engineer and Chartered Engineer. And since then, we've done it 470 times. So you can see there the number of registrations that we've had and the breakdown between the three different titles. I've also included there that it includes additional members. There may be some amongst you who have already attained a professional title with a different professional engineering institution, a PEI, and there are some who have chosen to also apply to be recognised by the PWI at that same professional title. They only pay the Engineering Council fee once, but they do then have the it can be recognised as having that equivalent knowledge and understanding and competence in a railway context. So what is professional registration? Well, it's an independent peer assessment of your competence and commitment to verify that you've met the standard set by the Engineering Council. And that's the same standard that all PEIs, all professional engineering institutions, assess against. And as I've mentioned, there are the three titles, EngTech, iEng and CEng, and you can see there the definitions that the Engineering Council give to each of those titles. And something that is quite handy, perhaps, is to replace the title with I. So I develop solutions to complex engineering problems. Does that ring true for you? And then that can help you gauge which level you might be working at or towards, and help you gauge which title you might want to apply for. Another way of thinking about it is the doers, the managers, and the leaders. So for each professional title, there are two parts. There's academic competence and professional competence. And at engineering technician level, the academic competence and professional competencies have an integrated assessment. So whether you hold some qualifications or none, anybody is able to apply for EngTech immediately. At iEng and CEng, it's slightly different. You can see there are different qualifications required, typically a bachelor level at Incorporated Engineer and a master's level qualification at Chartered Engineer. And at iEng and CEng, those have to have been satisfied before you're able to move on to professional review, where you would demonstrate the professional competencies. And I've listed there the professional competencies. You can see at their core, there's the 5 of them, A through to E. A is essentially what you know. B, how you've applied that knowledge. C is all about planning works and identifying quality improvements. D is all about working with others. And then E is like the golden thread, the DNA of a professional engineer. So it should really govern the whole way in which a professional engineer thinks and behaves. It covers off things like sustainability, safety, and ethics. So those 5 core professional competencies remain the same at all levels, broadening and deepening as you move up the titles. Looking back at the academic competencies, if any of you have switched off thinking, well, I've not been to university, I don't have a degree, bachelor's or master's, then I'm pleased to tell you that you're wrong, and it absolutely is still available to you. I draw your attention to the word typically. So if you don't hold a bachelor's or a master's degree, or it's not a recognised qualification in that it's been accredited by the Engineering Council as meeting their academic requirements, then instead you use your years of career experience to demonstrate that you've acquired that equivalent knowledge and understanding, and you do that through a route to registration. So what's required? Well, you do need to be a member, but most employers would reimburse membership fees. You do need a supporter, which is typically a line manager. You need a sponsor who is at or above the title that you're seeking. You do need CPD records, but again, if you're sat there thinking, well, I don't have those, so I won't be able to apply, again, I can happily tell you you're wrong, because every one of you will be doing CPD. You just might not have the records of it. Being here today is a great example of CPD. But those records can all be created retrospectively, so you don't need to sit and wait and be creating records for a number of years before you can make an application. I've already mentioned about the academic competencies, so those certificates that you might have from any formal studies that you undertook recently or many, many years ago will be important. So you may need to head up into the loft or go back to your parents' home, but you do need to dig them out and dust them off. And then if there's anything that we can do to help ease the journey through for a professional title for anybody, you're all unique with unique needs. So let us know how we can best help you, and tell us as early as possible so that we can get that support in place. Just wanted to dwell a little bit on the role of the sponsor, because there might be some amongst you here who are already professionally qualified, and so you're able then to act as a sponsor to support the development of others, which is one of the commitments that you make as a professional engineer. And so you can see there why you might do it, because obviously it would take your time, but there are benefits in doing that. Who is eligible to be a sponsor? And what is required of a sponsor, what would be required of you in performing that role. And whether you're a registrant with the PWI or a different institution, you can sponsor anybody that's going forward. You don't have to be a registrant with the PWI to be able to sponsor an applicant progressing through with us. It is a really important role, the role of the sponsor. You are the first quality assurance gateway for an application. You're the first port of call to ensure that it's got the greatest chance of success. We do have specific sponsor guidance to help you in your role, and happily deliver sponsor briefings so that we can really try and equip you and help you as you then go on to help others. So how do you apply? So at EngTech, as I say, it's the integrated assessment of your academic and professional competencies, and it's a written application form that you can download off the website. There's no interview required, and there's no submission deadlines. We process applications as they are received, so you don't need to wait for any particular time in the future to submit it. And we aim to give decisions within 6 weeks. So it doesn't take very long, particularly to get your decision and get your result and become a professional engineer. The hard bit is writing it, obviously. At iEng and CEng, it is slightly different. There you write a 5,000-word report, a professional review report on your career experiences, which demonstrate those 5 core professional competencies, the A through to E. And that obviously only happens if you've successfully completed one of the routes to registration, if there's been any academic gaps. So once you've done that, that's when you move on to the 5,000 words. Engineering Council require us to interview all iEng and CEng applicants, so that's a mandatory part of the process. And we hold those quarterly, so there are submission deadlines that you can work towards, and help you in then setting some progress milestones as well. So that probably all sounds like a lot of effort, and why should you bother? Well, everything that's worth having is worth working for, and there are certainly benefits to society who put their trust in you every time they board a train. There are certainly benefits to your employer and to the team that you work within by being part of a professional workforce. But ultimately, there are benefits to you. Once you earn this professional title, it is yours forever. No one can take it away from you, as long as you maintain and enhance your competence by doing CPD, and as long as you remain a member of a professional engineering institution, then it's yours to hold. And by gaining a professional title, you get to use the post-nominals, so you get to call yourself Liz Turner, Eng Tech, iEng, CEng, and it's those letters that instantly recognise you for your technical knowledge, for your competence, and for your professional integrity. So a bit of a whistle-stop tour through professional registration, but hopefully that's whetted the appetite to either begin or progress your application, or to sponsor and support a colleague who wants to make an application. There are a number of us here today, so if you want to have a conversation with us, you'll find us, or please do get in touch. We'd certainly be delighted to support you.